So we've got the transfer deadline day in today's episode, and we need to make a signing really because things haven't been going great and we need something to freshen up the squad just that little bit to try and give us that extra bit of oomph in the game. Can we get them? Well, we've not tried yet, so hopefully we get someone in before the transfer deadline shuts.
1, 2, 3.
Dans les campagnes, murgir ses forces soldats.
Hello and welcome back to the Money Bags. Today we are playing Saint Etienne at home and then FC Metz away from home in Ligue 1. And we need to try and get some points on the board because, as you can see, we're not doing very well from this table down here. If we have a look at the schedule then, you can see obviously we lost 1-0 to Amiens. Wasn't great. That was in the last episode, of course. We then played Greencamp, won 3-2 in a not the most convincing game, if I'm honest with you. We won it, but you know it wasn't like it was comfortable. We had to fight for it. We then played Toulouse. We didn't score a penalty. Cavani missed a penalty just before half time actually, and then they scored in the 93rd minute, literally the last kick of the game to win the game. So that was a real poor result for us. I'm not happy with the players at all there. Neymar really not played well at all in any of these games, and it's all because I think we tried to sell Di Maria, who was the best player on the pitch just about when he played in the game against Greencamp. So there's a bit of an issue there, I'm afraid. It's not looking brilliant, unfortunately. We have made a few transfers as well, but they've been transfers out. So we've let go of Lucas Moura. He's gone for 25 million to Bayern Munich, and Thomas Munayer has gone to Liverpool for 14.5 million. Both slightly cheap deals, I suppose. Lucas Moura, I think he was just under or over. I can't remember what he is. What's he valued at now? Valued at 25 million, so that's all right. Munayer, we definitely let him go for less than what he's actually worth. He's valued at 24 million on this now, so we let him go for the cheap, but we had to try and get some money in. So we've now got roughly about 34 million to spend there. 34 million to spend on ideally someone in the midfield, I think. Perhaps a backup right back would be good as well, but we're looking at a central midfielder essentially coming forward in this. First of all though, today before any games take place, we've got the Champions League Group Stage draw. So we'll look at this quickly because this will be pretty interesting. Now we're second seeded alongside teams like Barcelona. I don't know why they're second seeds. That's pretty interesting. Teams like Shakhtar though, they're first seeded. Spartak Moscow top seed. So as long as we avoid, I reckon, Real Madrid, Juventus and Chelsea, maybe Bayern Munich as well, we should have a pretty decent draw. We can't get Monaco as well. So Benfica, Shakhtar, Spartak Moscow, I'll be very happy with any of those teams. So we'll draw them very, very quickly. And they're the group, so we can't get Monaco, so it's not going to be us. Hopefully, it's us against Spartak, though. That game, they get Seville. That's a decent group. I don't really want Juventus, which is fine, because Dortmund are in that group. Chelsea, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man United. So we could get Shakhtar or Benfica. I'd be happy with that. We don't get Shakhtar. We do get Bayern Munich, though, which is a little bit annoying, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of that, but whatever happens, I don't know, that's kind of what happens. Who do we get in the third seed then as we go across? I didn't really look at who was in there first, but between Olympiacos and Roma, I'd take Olympiacos, but of course we get Roma, the team that I didn't want, so that's not good at all. And then in this fourth seed, I really don't mind too much who we get actually. They're fine by me as we come forward now. We've got Salzburg. We've actually got quite a tough group, to be fair, going forward in this. I'm not... Bayern Munich was a team that wanted to avoid because I know they're very, very good. Roma are also going to be really good and up there. It's going to be a very tough group, actually. And considering our league form, I don't think it's going to be great, really. Also, it doesn't help that I told the board that we were going to get a Champions League final as well. So we may even get knocked out in the group stage, which isn't great. On the injury front then, there are a few injuries at the moment. Unfortunately, Neymar's picked up an injury. He's out for another 2 weeks or so with pulled knee ligaments. Mata still out, but should be back for the next episode, I think, in a couple of days' time. Pastore is out for another week, so he may be back actually for the next game in this episode, so that'll be quite nice to see. Right, we do need to make a change to this, obviously, because Neymar is injured. So we're going to bring on Julian Draxler for him. Neymar goes onto the bench, although he can't go on the bench. We'll bring Pastore onto the bench as well. Lo Celso has gone on loan, actually. He played the last 2 games, but he's gone on loan now, properly. So Thiago Motta's going to have to come on the pitch as well. Hatem Ben Arfa playing as that attacking midfielder in behind Cavani, so that's what we're doing up there. We're running out of options because of these injuries to our key attacking players, so this is kind of what we're used to at the moment. I'm going to bring Di Maria back on as well for Mbappe, because Mbappe's not played too well, but Di Maria has, despite me wanting to sell him. So they're the changes that we've made to that attacking midfield trio. Cavani's still up front on his own. Verratti and Rabiot still in the middle. Kazawa, Thiago Silva, Kimpembe and Dani Alves still at the back, and Areola in goal as well. So that's what we're going to go for this game against Saint Etienne. Hopefully we can do something. Pastore's injured though, apparently. I've put the wrong guy on the bench, have I? We'll have to bring Mata on the bench actually instead and just make up numbers essentially because he can't play, can he? Right, we're kicking off now against Saint Etienne, and as you can see, I've got the league table up here. I think it's a little bit of a bug at the moment. Sometimes it shows the table, sometimes it doesn't, but it is there. You can see it now, just not all the time. I think we're sitting at about 15th right now. Obviously not great, but it's early days, so I don't feel I need to show you the table too much yet. As we get further into the season, the table becomes more and more important, but as we are currently playing woefully in the league at the moment, and we may concede another goal here, we came close to it, we may drop down, so I'm kind of tempted not to show the table because we're not really doing that well, are we? Highlight now coming for Saint Etienne by looks of things as they pass the ball forward to Dione, but gets tackled by Thiago Silva, and now we're trying to get on the attack ourselves. Dani Alves with plenty of room, passes to Verratti, into Ben Arfa, and I think we're panicking a little too much. We're just not taking our time on the ball, and I don't like that. The ball there was obviously very rushed and not very good, and now Saint Etienne have a chance to come forward, but Rabiot makes a nice tackle. Ben Arfa through to Verratti, who's got lots of space. Just run into the space, use the space. He plays a great ball through to Di Maria, but unfortunately it was intercepted. But now we're still back on the ball as Kazawa plays out towards Thiago Silva, but Dione has picked it up instead and has a shot from distance, and we nearly gifted Saint Etienne a goal there. We gave them a chance, but nearly they got a goal, which isn't great. Dani Alves on the ball then now as we approach the 25-minute mark in the game, actually. It's gone a bit slow, to be fair. He puts a great ball into Julian Draxler, though, and Draxler heads it home for his first of the season. I think he actually may have got another one, I don't know, but definitely one of Draxler's first goals this season, and he's empathetically put that in the back of the net. We're 1-0 up now, but there's a highlight straight from kick-off, which isn't good at all. I'd rather see us win the ball now and go and score a goal, because usually in Football Manager 2017, a highlight from kick-off meant a goal. Di Maria, though, actually makes a nice interception there and is now starting to come forward with the ball instead for PSG. Di Maria gets tackled himself, though, so not quite what we'd have wanted. Now, Saint Etienne have a chance to come forward again. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name. That looks too complicated. So does that one. Doesn't matter though because there's no goal at the end of it for Saint Etienne. Luckily for us, Areola puts it behind for a corner kick. The corner's about to come in though now, and it's put in by Carriera, who puts it very, very far out to Bamba, who dribbles it round to the far side, but his little clever move that he was trying to do didn't really work out for them in the end. I think the issue we're having is consistency. We're not having enough consistency in individual performances, and results obviously as well. They've not been very consistent there, but individual performances have been very inconsistent. Like Di Maria's had a really, really good game, and this game has been the worst player on the pitch for us. Same with Cavani's had good games and bad games, so it's a bit of an issue at the moment, I think. If we look at the stats, actually, we're arguably the worst side in this game. We struggle with possession, especially in their half. And in fact, we seem to have struggled possession everywhere, apparently, according to this. Possession there. So that's something we need to work on going forward into the future, I think. Right, we said things are going well, but we're capable of better. And no one's particularly reacted. They've listened keenly, someone passionately, but I don't know, there's no particular reaction, which is a little bit annoying. Been a very quiet second half so far, but we're still on the back foot really, and again our attacking players aren't really doing much at all, so we're going to make some changes now. We're going to bring Mbappe on for Di Maria. Cavani's not played very well, but we haven't really got another striker. That's something we need to sort of address at some point, but I've not really tried to do that. Mbappe can play up front, as can Ben Arfa, but no one quite as well as Cavani, so if Cavani's not playing well then we're a bit of a pickle, because I don't have plans to bring in another striker as it stands at the moment, so that could come back to haunt me a little bit. We'll also take Kazara off as well because he's not played well. There's also on a yellow card. We'll give Yuri a little chance to run out as well. We'll confirm those subs and let's get on with the rest of the second half, and hopefully we can just keep our momentum going and keep the lead. Well, it's been far from convincing so far, but with 10 minutes left on the clock, we've got another highlight, one of the first ones of the second half really. There's hardly been anything going on in this second half. It looks like it's going towards Saint Etienne now as Cabella comes forward with the ball, but Thiago Silva makes an interception. Julian Draxler has now got a chance to build an attack now as he plays it to Ben Arfa with a lovely ball through to Cavani. Cavani into the area, puts it past the goalkeeper, but just puts it past the post. That's actually the closest we've come all game, I think, apart from a goal, obviously. I don't think we've seen a better highlight from that. And with 5 minutes on the clock, I think we should be doing it. It's not convincing at all, but at least we're looking like we're going to get 3 points on the board, and that's what we need at the moment. Mbappe's corner, free kick comes in, crossed into the area, Kimpembe at the back post, but Rufia collects the ball. Another great chance for us in this game, but I think we should just about hold on. As you can see from the table here, we're currently sitting in 6th, but all our games are being played on a Friday at the moment rather than a Saturday. I assume it's just because they've all been moved for TV and it's all been played on a Friday night instead of a Saturday afternoon when everyone else plays. So expect us to drop down soon, as well as Mbappe puts a cross in. He's done that a few times. I think we've seen that quite a bit where crosses come in and hit the crossbar. That's happened a few times to us actually, which is a little bit weird because it doesn't normally happen, but there we go. I'm happy that we actually won a game on camera now. That's got that out of the way. I'm happy with that. We've had some bad luck on camera these past 2 episodes, but now Dani Alves' free kick is probably the last act of the game now. Here we go. He plays it forward to Rabiot and Verratti on the ball, and that is full time. It doesn't tell me down here when it's full time anymore. It used to come up with the score, didn't it? But it doesn't anymore, so I have to sort of guess a little bit more now. But there we go. We've won 2-0 against Saint Etienne. A positive result to take forward now. Hopefully we can build on this and really march forward now. We've played well. I'm going to be really generous with the team and just go passionate. You've played really well there, boys, because I need to get the dressing room back a little bit. I feel like I've lost it in the last few days. Happy with the result and the way you've played. They all look delighted with that, apart from Verratti, but you know, all that green looks good to me. So we'll leave the match happy men. Right, I believe we've got an international break now coming up before the game against Metz. So we've got 2 weeks off, and this is now where we need to start looking at signings. Now, it's the midfielder that I want. We're lacking midfield. We'll need a quality midfielder. Ideally, a box-to-box midfielder or a ball-winning midfielder. So we've got a few guys scouted out. If we look down here at scouted, I believe, there's a few players on here that I'm interested in looking at. 9 Golan being one of them. Valued at 29 million. We should be able to get between 31 and 44 million apparently. So with 34 million to spend, we're going to put a bid in for him. He's a top quality player. I know him a lot from my time at Roma at the end of FM18. So we're going to put a bid in for him. We'll make an offer of 30 million to start off with. I think we've only got 34 million to play with, so we've got to start low. I think we'll make that offer for him as well. Stoutman, also at Roma, a player that I really want to get in as well, so we'll make a bid for him too. He's valued a little bit lower, but they reckon they'd want 40 million for him. I think we'd come straight in at 27 million and just see what they say with that. In the comment section on episode 1, Martin Brealey suggested that we get Jean-Michel Seri in. And now he's a decent player actually. I mean, he's valued quite nicely. He's decent wage as well, so he's a player that we could really look to bring in. The only issue is he's not, well, saying that, he can play box-to-box midfielder quite competently. I was going to say he's more of a playmaker because we've got Verratti and he's our main playmaker, so we don't really need a playmaker. But actually, he can play box-to-box. He's not great at ball winning, but we could do with a box-to-box. And actually, at what he's worth, I reckon he's probably a decent shout. Estimated costs between 11 and 16, so I reckon we put in a low offer of maybe like 12 million and see what happens there. So Seri could be joining some PSG pretty soon. My next player I want to bid in for is Savic from Lazio. Now, I think he's a decent player that can add to it. Box-to-box midfielder, can play as a ball-winning midfielder as well, fairly competently. Plays as Mezzala, which is kind of a new role as well, so I'm interested in that as well. We might play him as a Mezzala a little bit, but he's a player that I think can develop quite nicely as well. So, estimated costs of 22 to 46 million. I reckon we just go straight in for 25 million and see what happens there. Obviously, as things stand, we can only probably afford one of these players rather than a few midfielders. So we may have to get a midfielder and maybe look at a right back or a striker as well as sort of backup. And the final player I want to put a bid in for is Mohamed El Neni, who I don't think is playing much at Arsenal at the moment, but I think he could come in as a decent backup player, especially, you know, he can play box to box fairly competently and ball in midfielder, and also can play as a defensive midfielder quite nice as well. So if we want to have a bit of depth in our squad like that, Mohamed El Neni might be a decent shout as well. So I'm going to put a bid in for him for 13 million. He's valued at that, but I feel like he could be on the transfer list. So I think if we make an offer of 13 million, we could get a decent deal here. So all the offers have been made, and we're going to wait a couple of days before transfer deadline day and hope that someone comes back on these midfielders. And if we get one of them, then we can look at how much money we've got left over and then sort of see if we can get anyone else in. Transfer stories have been leaked though for Seri and Savic, so that's a little bit annoying if someone else bids in for them now, but I don't think anyone should do it at this late stage. Right, so deals have come back now. They've rejected the Stoutman bid, Roma have, so that's a player that we can sort of rule out. I don't really mind too much, although he's now facing an uncertain future according to the news articles here, which is interesting. Seri has been offered, negotiated for 17.5 million. Savic, they want 37 million for him, so that's a no deal for us. Well, we could get him in, but I don't know if he's worth that much, if I want to pay that much for him. He's got the potential though to be very, very good, so I feel like he actually could be the player we bring in. I'll leave that open. I think we negotiate this down to about 30 or so million. I can't quite remember what our first offer was, if I'm honest with you. But we'll get that down to 30 million, and then we can talk. We'll get rid of this as well, remove that, suggest those terms. They want 32 million. We'll get rid of that, move it down to 31 million, suggest those terms. They're happy with that. We'll accept that. So we'll see what the contract is when we get Savic through. El Neni, they want 14.75 million. We'll accept that, to be fair. That's fine. We can take that. Roma are willing to discuss a deal for 9 going on 42 million. We don't want to pay that much. We'll take it down to 30 million and then we'll suggest that, see what they say. Now they want 42 again. We'll put it down to 32 million because I'd quite like to get 9 going in. That would be a very good deal for us. We'll put it up to 32, suggest that. They want 40 now. I reckon we go all out, put all 34 million on the board, make that offer, We could add an additional clause in as well as, I don't know, maybe percentage of a profit from a next sale of 20%. I reckon that could be something. They want 37 million on that. We'll bring it back down to 34 million. Suggest that again. They want 37. I mean, I will accept it for now. It's a deal we could potentially do, but it does depend on the contract. Right, contracts now. Savic has got his contract coming forward now. Let's negotiate this quickly. He wants to be a key player. We'll make him a key player. We'll put him on a 3 or 4 year deal. He's currently on 47,000, so not that much. We'll put him on 90,000. We'll just suggest that off the bat, see what he says. Generally speaking, I'm quite happy with his contract. We'll get rid of a yearly wage rise of 10%. That's kind of fine. He wants 105,000. That's fine. Other than that, I'm happy with all those actually. So we'll suggest that. And he's not happy because I've taken off that other thing. So we're not getting Savic by the looks of things. And then his deals come through. He's actually said what he wants exactly. So we've got a bit more room to negotiate here. We'll get rid of that unused substitute fee. We'll bring down his wage to £67,000 a week, and we'll suggest that to him. He wants 70 and unused substitute. We'll accept the wage, but get rid of that. And he's happy with that contract. So we'll offer that to him and see what happens in the next few days. Golan now wants an awful lot. He's the best player that we've scouted out, though. Really, really solid player. Is more of a midfielder. Obviously, I thought that was midfield, then that's attacking midfield. So that's actually good. Central midfielder would be the best in the squad, to be fair. So I'm happy with this, actually. If we negotiate his contract a little bit, we get rid of unused substitute fee. We'll be risky with that. What else do you want to get rid of? Anything? I don't think I want to get rid of anything else. I don't want to upset him too much. We'll take this down to 170. Suggest that. He wants 185. We'll take it down to 180. Suggest those terms. He's happy. I'm happy. Let's exit the talks. We may have to fiddle around now with the finances, but potentially Golan's coming into the squad. We can adjust the budget slightly, actually. Maybe we can request the board first for a bit more transfer budget. Increase the transfer budget. Can we have a bit more, please? And they say no. Okay, that's fine. Maybe they'll be more inclined to more wages, finance, increase wage budget. To attract high reputation players, they're happy to do that. So they've increased it, have they? Have they increased it? Wage budget increased by not much at all, I don't think. I literally don't think they've done much in that. Has it even changed? Because it was 3.8 million before, it's now 3.8 million again. So unless they've gone up by like 100,000, which it can't have done, it must be like £50,000 or so at most. So, oh god, this isn't good. Right, if we adjust the budget then, if we put it, oh, that's actually good. If we just adjust this slightly, can we just adjust it in the middle a little bit? No, it's got to be 34, 39 million. So we'll do that. We get the money for Golan. We just are a little bit tight on the wage budget. So I reckon Golan's going to come in. So the pro of Golan coming in is that we've got a fantastic player coming into the squad. The con is that we're spending all our money on him and have no money to strengthen elsewhere. The pro of El Neni coming in is that we've got a lot more money to strengthen other areas still because we're paying a lot less money. The downside to that is that he's not as good and won't be as effective. Oh, this is getting tough, being honest with you. This is a bit tough. Oh, of course, Nice as well wants 17.25 million for Seri. We didn't actually do anything with that. However, because we've got El Neni and Golan accepting contracts, I don't think we're going to go for Seri, unfortunately, this transfer window at least. We may go for him another time, but I feel like we've got some slightly more better suited players coming in, potentially. So it's come to transfer deadline day and nothing's actually happened yet. So we'll click on take part, which I think is going to mean now that today's going to be another double upload day, because I think this episode is going to be too long just for one. So we'll just do this one now and play Mets later on in today as well. So you're lucky that you're getting lots of double uploads at the moment. Right. El Neni or Golan? I think it's got to be Golan. I think it has to be. I don't think we can pass off that opportunity. So we'll accept the bid for Golan, cancel the bid for El Neni, and that's what we're going to do. Here we go, Golan signed. Let's send him on an intensive language course. Thiago Silva can welcome him to the club. Do that for me, please, mate. And he says, yes, of course I will. And Rabiot is now concerned because I've signed a player to replace him. He's a leading player in the squad. I need to consider the impact if I fail to appease him. Right. In that case, let's ask Thiago Silva first and say, can you just talk to him, please? Thiago Silva says, yeah, I'll talk to him. And Rabiot's no longer worried, so that's fine, because I did not want to have to deal with that at all. Right, we've made our signing, and I don't plan to do anything else in this transfer window. So it is deadline day. If anything happens, I'll tell you about it later on. But I think we're going to cut it now, and then we'll resume later on. So this episode will come out about 2 o'clock. Later on, we'll play the Mets game at about 6 o'clock, I think. So I'll see you 6 o'clock for the Mets game.
Il y a un muscle dans vos bras, égorgez vos fils, vos campagnes. Que veut cet ordre esclave de traite et de roi conjuré? Pour qui c'est ignoble d'entrave, c'est faire des longtemps préparés. Toi, des cohortes étrangères feraient la loi dans nos foyers.